Good morning, everyone. It is 5:31. I've just gotten up, and my plan today is to make homemade hamburger buns and homemade ketchup. First, however, I need to make coffee. So this will be, I think, one of those spend the day with me type vlogs. And I think we will have a good time. And while the coffee is brewing, I need to take care of the little animals here. We have Goldie, Binky, and Avery, who all need attention. That first sip of coffee is the best.
We are off to the local dog park where Avery has a play date with her friend Caper. The dogs will romp for about 45 minutes, then we need to return home. I still have to shower and prepare for our cooking project. In addition to the homemade ketchup and hamburger buns, we will also make our own vegetarian bean burgers.
All right, back from the dog park, and I am showered, shaved, and shampooed. So now we can get started on the hamburger buns. Now, this is a recipe that I developed back in 2020, and it really does produce what I think are the best hamburger buns. And I will post the recipe in the description below. I need water, warm water, active dry yeast, whisk. I know that my active dry yeast is good, so I don't have to proof it yet first. Then I need to whisk in 1 large room temperature egg, melted butter, sugar, and salt. Then I need flour, which I'm going to weigh out. I'm going to add the flour in 2 additions. Stir. I just want to moisten this first addition of flour. And I will be using my stand mixer to knead the dough, but I like to do the mixing part by hand. That's what I did when I developed the recipe, so I don't want to change course at all. And we can add the remaining flour. And stir it in. And I will continue to stir until the dough is too stiff to stir. I think it's always nice if you are having hamburgers or hot dogs for dinner or lunch or for a party to offer your own homemade hamburger or hot dog buns. And this hamburger bun recipe works equally well for hot dog buns. I think it's also nice to have homemade ketchup. You don't have to, but it does give you bragging rights. I need my dough hook. We are going to knead this dough until it becomes smooth and elastic. It will probably take 8 minutes. All right, we are kneaded. So this dough is smooth, definitely elastic, but it is also sticky, and that's just how it should be.
Because the dough is sticky, I'm using damp fingers to form the dough into a rough ball. Then I place the dough into a greased bowl and flip it to grease the other side.
And I'm going to cover this with a damp towel and let the dough proof for 90 minutes to 2 hours. It should double in volume. I like to use the proofing feature on my oven. It heats the oven to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to get cleaned up here, and then we can get started on the homemade ketchup. I love this homemade ketchup, though I don't make it often, and I really should. I think commercial ketchup is good, but it is essentially tomato juice flavored corn syrup. This is far more interesting than that. And I need 1 large bell pepper, which I'm going to just roughly chop. Then I need a large onion, white or yellow. Then I need some fat cloves of garlic. My recipe calls for 4 cloves of garlic, but you can certainly use more or less. That's one of the nice things about making your own ketchup. You can alter the ingredients according to your own taste. These are small cloves, so I'm certainly going to use more than 4. I have bell peppers and garlic and onions in my garden, but of course none of them are ready to harvest yet. It's way too early in the season. And I can give the garlic just a rough chop. So the other ingredients for this ketchup are some neutral flavored oil. I'm using avocado oil, apple cider vinegar, tomatoes, brown sugar, allspice, cloves, salt, pepper, and then some spices. And the spices are dry mustard, chili powder, cinnamon. We need to cook the bell pepper and the onion in a little neutral flavored oil just until the onion and the pepper soften. We're going to do that on the stovetop. Going to warm this oil. Then we can add the bell pepper and the onion. Give this a stir to coat the veggies with the oil. And I'm going to cover the pot and let the veggies sweat until they are tender. That will take about 8 minutes. All right, our veggies have softened. You really don't want them to color at all. So now we can stir in the garlic and saute it just for 1 minute or so until it becomes fragrant. And I have some homemade tomato paste. Store-bought is perfectly good here. Whole peeled tomatoes from a large can. And I like to cut up the tomatoes. Helps them to cook down faster. And that was a 28-ounce can that I use, but I will put the printable recipe in the description box below, so you don't have to write down any of the measurements. Then we need apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, dry mustard, chili powder, allspice, cinnamon, ground cloves, salt, and pepper. Stir. And now we can lower the heat, partially cover the pot, and let this cook until it becomes nice and thick. That will take anywhere from 55 minutes to 1 hour. And I have a lot of dry mustard to clean up. This thing spills very easily. Now already my kitchen smells just heavenly with the ketchup that's on the stove. And if you think it smells great, just wait until you taste it. And while we wait for that dough to rise and for the ketchup to finish, I'm going to go practice piano.
After 90 minutes at the piano, Avery is telling me it's time to head back to the kitchen.
Well, our ketchup is done. It's nice and thick, but if it's not thick enough, I can always add more tomato paste. Now, I do need to blend this in my Vitamix. Or rather, I need to puree this. I wish you could smell my kitchen right now. You can smell the bit of clove and allspice. Heavenly perfumes, my friend. I'm going to start at low speed and then work my way to high. Looks very smooth. I need to taste it. Just to make sure I don't need to add more salt. Taste is incredible. I do want to thicken this though, so I'm going to add another one of my tomato paste pucks. This is frozen, but it will melt very rapidly because this sauce is quite warm. Fresh spoon. It's nice and thick now. And it will thicken up further, and the flavors will intensify, or they will at least mingle as this refrigerates. And you do want to refrigerate homemade ketchup for at least 4 hours, but I'm not sure that I will wait that long today. Meantime, we can jar this. Now you can store this ketchup in the refrigerator for a good month. And of course you can freeze the ketchup. More jars. I have screw-on lids for all of these jars, but before I put the lids on, I do want the ketchup to come to room temperature, so we can just put this aside. We fetch the dough. More than doubled in volume. Wow. So I want to weigh this dough because I need to divide it into 8 pieces. Okay, 700 grams. So I am looking for 8 pieces that weigh about 87.5 grams each. Do a little rough measuring first. Way over. 85, yay! $86, okay. 85, there we go. We are all weighed out. So now we can form this dough into little rolls. Gather the ends under to form surface tension. And then take the palm of my hand, I make a cup, and just rotate the dough so it forms a perfect little sphere. Now you could cover these rolls with cling film. I'm going to use my damp towel, but I'm going to add some flour to it because I don't want the rolls to stick to the towel as they rise. And on you go. And it will only take about 30 minutes for these rolls to double in volume. Meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or what is that, 190 degrees Celsius. And my ketchup is now cool enough that I can cover the jars and pop them into the refrigerator. And we will be enjoying some of this ketchup with French fries that will accompany our veg burgers. Our buns have risen. They are nice and fluffy looking. So now I want to brush the tops with some beaten egg. The egg will help the buns to brown beautifully in the oven. Need my pastry brush. Here you are. I don't like this brush. We'll try this brush. Of course, you have to be careful when you are applying the beaten egg because you do not want to deflate the dough. I want to top these buns with some toasted sesame seeds. And into the oven they go, 15 to 17 minutes until they've colored and puffed and they look downright beautiful. And while the buns are baking, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the veg burgers. So these veg burgers are actually black bean burgers, which you and I have made together before, but we haven't made them in a good long while. And I'm just in the mood for black bean burgers today. And I need a small amount of minced onion. And then I'm also going to cut up some onion that we can saute and enjoy with our bean burgers. And here again, I will put the recipe for these veg burgers in the description box below. I love them. They are very filling, and I think if you try them, you will not miss the meat. This is a towel that one of my viewers sent. It's my cat, Binky. Isn't that nice? So I have black beans from 2 cans that I drained and rinsed. I need the onion that we just minced, some seasoned dry breadcrumbs, Then I want some ground cumin. And you can alter the seasonings in this as your taste buds dictate. Chili powder, and as much crushed red pepper flakes as you dare. Then I need 1 beaten egg, just going to bind everything together. Now, the nice thing, or one of the nice things about these burgers, is that they do not fall apart when you flip them. And I only have 1 food prep glove left. I used so many of the food prep gloves when we were painting the urns and doing other projects. So I am going to mix this with 1 hand. And the goal is not to completely mash all of the beans, just to mash some of them as you're mixing all of the ingredients together. Having some mashed beans and some whole beans gives these bean burgers a particularly nice texture. Then we can set this aside for a moment while I fetch my skillet. And while my skillet is heating, our buns are ready. These turned out beautifully, just as they always do. I'm going to set these aside for a moment while we fry up our bean burgers. I like to fry my bean burgers in butter and either olive oil or avocado oil. I'm using avocado oil today. And while the butter is melting, I'm going to go ahead and divide this burger mixture into 4 sections, and then into patties. And in you go. And while these are cooking, I'm going to wash my hands, and then I want to fetch some lettuce from the garden and also cook up some French fries. French fries, obviously not made by me. Into the oven. Now let's quickly run out to the garden to fetch some lettuce. I'm just going to wash these leaves, but they are very, very clean. We had a lot of rain over the weekend, and now we have sun, and the sun has dried off all the moisture. And we can put our lettuce on a platter. We can put our now done bean burgers on the platter. And then I want to quickly just fry up these onions. And we can put the onions on the platter. I'm going to keep the skillet turned on because I want to very quickly toast a couple of these buns. These are so soft, and really they are just perfect. And they freeze perfectly. And to help these buns toast, I'm going to add a tiny amount of mayonnaise to each side, or rather to each half. Spread the mayonnaise on. You could use melted butter here, or even unmelted butter. These go into the skillet. These will toast very quickly. I don't have to worry that my Bing burgers will become cold. I want to give my French fries a quick toss. They don't want to toss. We will encourage them. And back into the oven. A plate for me, a plate for Lisette. Look at these beautifully golden hamburger buns. I want to serve the ketchup in these little ramekins. Smells so appetizing in here. Now we can start building our burgers. In the comments, you can tell me what you like to serve on a hamburger or a veg burger. And do you like ketchup on the bun, or mayonnaise, or mustard, or all three? We have just enough room for an ample serving of French fries. It is such a nice day. I think that we should eat our burgers outside in the garden. Now, the moment I have been waiting for. First, French fry in the homemade ketchup. This ketchup is so different from the popular brands of ketchup that we can buy at the supermarket because it does not contain corn syrup. And even though there's brown sugar in this recipe, the ketchup really is not that sweet. It just has a pure tomato taste, plus you get a whiff of the cloves and the allspice and the other things we put into the blend. I think it is just fantastic. And it's the kind of ketchup our ancestors would have made before bottled ketchup was a thing. And now, the veg burger. I would give this hamburger the highest praise possible. First, the bun is soft and yeasty, and it toasted up beautifully in the skillet. And then we have the black bean burger, which is just filled with wonderful warm spices, and the protein and fiber-rich black beans. It's just as perfect can be. I feel like I'm eating a steak in a bun. Well, this was a very fun and very productive day. We went to the dog park. We made our own hamburger buns. We made our own ketchup. We made these vegetarian bean burgers. We practiced piano, and we enjoyed this lunch, which quite frankly is probably going to count as my dinner too. Again, I will post all of the printable recipes in the description box below. And to see the full description, you simply click on the title of the video. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. And the next video will be on Sunday, and I can't wait to see you again. Until then, please treat yourself very, very well. Please try these hamburger buns and the bean burgers, and I will see you next time. Bye for now, friends.